Tsehaynew Ademe from Ethiopia, manager and founder of Charity Association of Education and Training Service for Persons with Disabilities. As you know, as WHO, World Leaders Organization, and World Bank population data, 17% of the population in the world is persons with disability, including me. When I was a child in 5 years, I lost my eyes due to my country harmful practice traditions. Starting that day, I'm facing a lot of challenges. When I come to school, when I go to higher education, I'm getting a lot of problems. So to minimize this problem on me and others persons with disability in my country, we founded one charity organization. Just we are not giving our hands for this problem. That's why I'm in America now. In the coming 5 years, we have a plan to bring 5,000 children with disability to school. So we invite all charitable stakeholders and all volunteers to implement our plan practically to the ground. Finally, dignity for disability, dignity for marginalized group, dignity for all society. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. It's so wonderful to see everybody here in the room today for our very enriching discussion that we're about to have, and welcome to those of our colleagues who are tuning in on Facebook Live. We're delighted to have you with us in a virtual capacity this morning. This is the third edition of our MWF Live speaker series, where each week we will be hearing from 4 or 5 of our Mandela Washington Fellows who are with us this summer for a 6-week Civic Leadership Institute sponsored by the U.S. Department of State. And each week, our fellows will be sharing their ideas and their perspectives and thoughts and work that they're doing in their countries to create positive change. The Presidential Precinct is a Charlottesville-based nonprofit organization that's a partnership among the University of Virginia, William & Mary, James Monroe's Highland, James Madison's Montpelier, Thomas Jefferson's Monticello, and beautiful Morven Farm. And together we engage and inspire the next generation of emerging leaders to tackle the biggest challenges facing their countries. And we're coming to you today from James Monroe's Highland. Thank you so much to our colleagues from Highland for hosting us today. We're delighted to be here with you. The topic of our MWF Live panel today is empowering the next generation of global leaders. So we'll hear from these established rising leaders about how to instill a sense of civic engagement and purpose and mission in the younger generation. How do we bring the younger generation along? How do we pass the torch for positive change in all of our countries? So I'll start by introducing our facilitator, and then I will let him take it from here. Today our facilitator is Johan Ducharme. He's serving as a summer program fellow in our Mandela Washington Fellowship here in summer 2018. He's currently pursuing a PhD in educational leadership and policy at William & Mary, and he has over a decade of experience in global leadership development. So with that, I will put you in the hands of Johan and our panelists.
Thank you so much, Nancy. It is a true pleasure to be here. Thank you, Highland, for having us. We have some very special leaders here, and I'd like them to take just a minute to introduce themselves.
Thank you so much, Johan, about that. My name is Nombosa Maboza. I'm from Swaziland. I'm a teacher there, and I also run a girls' empowerment club in a rural community in Swaziland. I'm also part of GLOW Swaziland, which is a girls' empowerment club, which teaches young girls to see themselves as emerging leaders in Swaziland. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Johan. I'm Siba Akulem from Guinea-Conakry. I'm a teacher also. I am the president of ASTAG, American Study Teachers Association in Guinea. I'm also the co-founder of CELATI, a center in charge of teaching young guys English and computing in Guinea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johanna and Nancy. I am ፀሀይነው Ademe from Ethiopia, manager and founder of Association of Education and Training Service for Persons with Disability. I am a visionary blind.
Thank you, Johan. My name is Nozipho Dlali. I am an attorney. I run my own law firm, but I'm also a member of a global network and movement of young active citizens, over 200,000 all over the globe. And I am the 2018 current National Vice President in JCI South Africa.
Thank you very much. My name is Moaz Al-Hajimodu. I'm an activist advocating for transparency and accountability. I work with Connected Development. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, we are talking about empowering the next generation of leaders. And so my first question to all the panelists is, why are we talking about this topic of empowering young leaders? Why does this topic matter today? Here in the United States, we're currently having a real youth empowerment movement, specifically within the political process. So what does the youth empowerment and the youth movement...
As a leader, I'm trying to take my share in my country because leaders have great responsibility to change in a country as well as to the world. So when I had in early grade, I started to make influence on politicians or in private organization by advocating the right of persons with disability as individual in my country. When I had in the higher college, I engaged in one volunteer activities. I was the founder and the coordinator in the college, which helps to read for blindness. And also I was founder and chairman of Union Association of Persons with Disability. So by using this union, I try to challenge the government officials, the politicians, and private organizations to take our share and to be benefit on the right of persons with disability.
I'm going to ask it of Tsehaynew, Nozipo, and Mwazu. You all serve as leaders and mobilizers, empowering young, active citizens to be civic leaders in your community. So what has been your experience working with the youth in your countries? Can you tell us a little bit more about the organizations you founded or were elected to? And what specific strategies are you using to empower youth? And what have you found works?
Thank you. I've different experiences in my country. When I had in early grade, I founded one anti-HIV/AIDS and reproductive clubs, and I managed there. I served a lot of activities to persons with disability, and not only for persons with disability. In the town, there is one youth association. In this association, it has more than 4,000 users. So in the association, I had vice president of the town and also vice president of the sub-city of the Wolaita Sodo, which is found in South Ethiopia. When I come to the higher education, I had a coordinator of volunteers, readers for blindness. When I had in the college, including 6 friends, we had blind in the college, and we faced a lot of problems. They had no any braille, they had no any audio materials. So to solve this problem, I tried to organize this volunteers club, and I wrote announcement for volunteers in the college. Then 700 candidates, graduate students joined to our volunteers, and they start to serve me. Now we graduate and we are serving as in community in different levels. So when I come to current situation, I'm a manager and founder of Charity Association of Education and Training Service for Persons with Disability in South Ethiopia, and a vice president of Union of Association of Disability in South Ethiopia. Around 7 associations organized in together to challenge, to remove our challenges together. So I'm a vice president there on the last 3 years. So my strategy to use this, I believe in negotiation and lobbying more than using law enforcement, because we can, if we approach on love, we can win all things. But if we go to the law enforcement, maybe the government official can give appointment. They doesn't say no, but they will be Mr. Tsehaynew, will you come Monday? Will you come Saturday? They will be give a great appointment. Different difficulty will face. So I want my lobby and negotiation is my strategy to reach on this situation.
First, Tsehaynew, tell us more about the work you're doing in educating and training services for people with disabilities. What has been your experience in empowering children with disabilities? And what opportunities make you hopeful? And what are the challenges ahead for this movement?
Thank you, Johanna. My organization, as I mentioned, is Charity Association of Education and Training Service for Persons with Disability. But it is very long. Thanks for Presidential President and Virginia of University scholars. I have get some knowledge about media and communication. When I go back to my country, I want to check my name, because when I call, even it takes 2 minutes. The name of my organization and logo and about brand, I get some knowledge from here. So I will arrange my organization name. So when I go to my organization, some activities, the main objective of my organization is creating conducive living, learning, and working environment for persons with disability. Especially, we focus on children with hearing impairment, children with visual impairment, children with intellectual disorder. Why they need a lot of attentions, especially in Africa, especially under Saharan African country, there is no any access of education, technology, and different things for persons with disability. That's why my organization is trying to give educational chance for these children with disability. We have more than 218 children with disabilities. They have a service, assistive technology supplies. We have feeding program in a school. When they come to school, we provide some tea and bread in time, in breakfast, in the rest time, because their family are poor, they have no any food, and they are even some students come to the purpose of that food. So we are giving this support for those children with disability. In another part, we have volunteers activity. We experienced with Holland, Belgium, UK, and some Americans. International volunteers received around 31 volunteers received in the past 3 years. In another hand, as we understand from my association name, we have training rooms for non-child with disability, like conflict resolution training, income generate activity trainings, and also we have a program, parent-to-parent coffee ceremony program, because the parent of persons with disability are not well aware about their children, even when they buy clothes and shoes for non-disabled children, their children, they do not buy for disabled children, because they recognize that disabled children is not them. It is the responsibility of international organization. So we have to improve this backward thinking through coffee ceremony training. We have this program also. In another hand, we have awareness creation campaigns in different things through radio, through brochure and pamphlets. And for the first time in Ethiopia, we published one book by 10,000 copies in Amharic, it's our national language, for history of success persons with disability in Ethiopia. Still, we had uses the success of the American Helen Keller history, as you know all. Helen Keller is a wonderful person with disability. She learned a lot of things to us. So we had used this history only, but now we organized the local successful persons with disability history, and we are using this book for learning. when I come to the some opportunities, we have great opportunities. Before 2 years, there is no peace in my country, but now it is stable. So peace by itself is very great opportunity. The second one, the family of persons with disability try to send their children to school. We have some hopes. And the third one, great opportunity. I think to my project, it is great opportunity, even my blindness, because the family of blindness trust me and they are making hope by looking at me. Because I have a bachelor degree in education and planning. I'm working with different scholars and I have my personal own car. When they looked at me, they are taking a hope on their children. So I think, and also to make a positive influence on the government officials, I think my blindness also contributed a lot. In the other hand, we have different challenges. The first one, in my country, there is low culture of volunteerism. The second challenge is unreachable criteria of donors. International donors, they have a lot of criteria. We couldn't fill that criteria. We have different achievement on our activity, but we did all activities by volunteerism. Our financial statement doesn't show a million's finance, but the donors request us the financial report more than 1 million, 2 million. So it's difficult to us to get international donors. The third one problem is negative attitude of persons, the communities about persons with disability and cause of disabilities. Still exists a harmful traditional in Ethiopia. Even educated persons are not well aware about persons with disability. So it needs to work more. This is, I think it is enough for now. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for one lightning round, and I'm going to take a question from Facebook Live for this lightning round. So in 1 or 2 sentences, each of you get to answer the question. What advice would you have for anyone facing setbacks for youth when they're trying to step up, but they're finding their voice is being stymied?
They have to focus and determine on what they are doing. They have to consider setback as a kind of test. If they have to overcome that test, they will be able to become successful in life. Because I started as a volunteer, I faced a lot of challenges, I had a lot of setbacks, but here I am.
Thanks, Johan. People always come and say, wow, you're an overnight success. There is no such thing. It's just that it takes many years, many closed doors, many knocks, many doors, many rejections. And I would encourage young people, don't give up. Don't give in. Know who you are, know your voice, and you will get no's, and you will get a lot of them. But if you know what you want, and you know what kind of impact you want to make, keep knocking. And when people come and say overnight successes, no, those people have been digging and knocking for many, many years. Thank you.
In addition to all those, let's say, what my friends have already said, this question is me again. You know, I was an orphan when I was 6th grade. I lost my mother. In 8th grade, I lost my father. From that time until the end of my study, I took everything in charge for myself. So, that means in life, if you want to do something, know your goal. It's very important. And if you know your goal, whatsoever you do, you will succeed in life. We started Silati with 0 francs. 0 francs. We had nothing. I left everything. I make sure to sensitize, to talk to people. And I was obliged to use some time to get money from people to pay some teachers. And today we have a very good budget. And whatsoever you want to do in life, set up your goal, target your goal, make sure you reach it. Thank you.
I also wanted to add that the road to success is never easy. You have to and you will face some setbacks, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. But you have to try to do something for yourself and for your future. Thank you.
Can I? Okay. Okay. For me, I have advice because, as I mentioned before, we published one success history of the persons with disability. Non-persons with disability users have learned from us. We are persons with disability, but we are doing a lot. But in my country, in all Africa, a lot of users are without job. They are going to be hopeless. So they have learned from us. If any person, if have mind, it can do anything. So my principle and my advice is we can. Thank you.
With that, let's thank our panelists. Thank you all to the people here at Highlands and to our wonderful community of scholars, as well as those online. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to make a note that our next MWF Live discussion will be on Tuesday, July 10th at Thomas Jefferson at James Madison's Montpelier on the topic of protecting the rights of marginalized people. With that, thank you.